Amaka, you have been evicted from Big Brother's house.
It was nice meeting you all. I love you all.
So tonight was the head of house games, right? And as usual, okay, like last week, Big Brother divided it into male and female, which I think is something he should keep doing so that we don't hear things like, oh, it's because we're playing against the guys, that's why we didn't stand a chance. No, females play against each other. And then I love what he did because he made sure that the final level, which would see the finalists of the male and the female play together, it was totally a game of chance. Like, you could not say that, oh, it's because he's a guy, or oh, it's because she's a girl. No advantage, no gender advantage. It was just totally a game of chance. So yes, of course, the games were really interesting. And then we know that tonight was also supposed to be nomination, right, for eviction. But you would admit, like you would admit with me, that this year's Big Brother Naija has been ridden with twists and turns here and there. And tonight, we saw another twist in the nomination/eviction process. And I'm sure you want to hear all of that. So really, don't go anywhere, okay? Let me introduce myself. I am Bethy, and this is the Big Brother Naija show here on Tab TV, where I keep you updated on everything that happens in this year's season of Big Brother Naija. That is the season 7 Level Up. Okay, so let's go straight into it. So the head of house games was tonight, and the first stage was to carry marbles in a really flat tray or plate or whatever you want to call it. Well, it's not a plate because it wasn't exactly a plate. Anyway, in a really, really flat thingy that was had a flat surface. And you know how marbles are, they are very slippery and they were round, so you can imagine carrying them in a on a flat surface, and you're to walk from point A to point B and, you know, put them in your bowl and go back, you know, back and forth until the buzzer goes off. It was a 1-minute thingy. So of course, as usual, the person with the highest number of marbles in their bowl would be amongst the top 2 to qualify to the next stage. Now the males played first, and yeah, the males saw Dotun and Adekunle emerge as the winners with the most number of pebbles or marbles in their bowl. And you know, when the males were playing, the ladies were laughing because they had, some of them had miserable numbers like 2. Shags. I'm not going to miss an opportunity to talk about Shags. Yes, Shags had 2 pebbles in his bowl. Like, dude, really? What was that? It was almost like, oh, I'm too cool to play, please. 2, 1, 2. And your mates were having 30 something. Anyway. I'm not going to miss an opportunity to talk about Shags. Yes, Shags had 2 pebbles in his bowl. Like, dude, really? What was that? It was almost like, oh, I'm too cool to play, please. 2, 1, 2. And your mates were having 30 something. Anyway. So the males saw Dotun and Adekunle emerge as the finalists. And when the females played, they saw it was kind of almost a tie between Daniela and Chi-Chi, right? Chi-Chi had 9 marbles and Daniela had 8. And guess what? Fina had 32, beating everybody hands down. Like, that was a lot, given that the task was pretty difficult. So really, it was a lot. 32 marbles in her bowl at the end of everything. Anyway, of course, so she and Chi-Chi emerged as the finalists, and they were to play together for the next stage of the head of house game. And the next stage was, okay, so there were balloons tied to a flat surface. It was like a dart game. So they were to pick up darts and throw to balloons. Now, one particular balloon out of all the many balloons that were there had a note that said head of house or something of that sort. So yes, the lucky person to, get that balloon, pop it, and see the note is the head of house. So you know how I said it, it's basically a game of chance. You can't say, oh, it's because he's a guy, or it's because he's a girl, because she's a girl. Anyway, so yes, they were each to take turns, and Fina finishing first, finishing with the highest number of pebbles, the best performer in that first stage. Big Brother gave her the chance to decide how they were going to go, decide who was going to go first and all of that. So she said Adekunle was going to go first, followed by Chi-Chi, no, followed by Dotun, right? No, followed by Chichi, then herself. Yes, then Dotun. That was it. Yes. So Adekunle went first, followed by Chichi, then herself, then Dotun. Okay, so yes. After like I think three rounds or even 4 rounds, finally one person popped the right balloon with the head of house title, and that person was Dotun, and he was like, the head of house, and I was like, oh my god. I kind of low-key wanted Fina to win. I wish she won, but hey, she didn't win, and Dotun is cool. Dotun is that kind of person that doesn't really have issues with anyone. And of course, you know, being the head of house comes with the advantage of the head of house bedroom, and he is to pick a female companion to share his bedroom with him. And we all know already who dude was gonna pick, like, who else? Okay, so yes, he picked Daniela, right? And well, at some point I was thinking that Daniela was not gonna accept this. I was like, hey, what are you doing? What are you waiting for? Because I thought that it was gonna come with the privilege of being immune to eviction, just like last week. But no, another twist. So yes, it does not come with the privilege of being immune. So regardless of the fact that, what's her name? Daniela is his roomie in the head of house room. She is not immune. She could still be put up for possible eviction. Yes. But she has access to the head of house bedroom whenever she wants, according to Big Brother. So that was how the head of house games went. And of course, we know that what's supposed to follow is, you know, nominations for possible evictions on Sunday. But Big Brother said no. Yes. So he called all the housemates individually, one by one, to nominate their 2 preferred candidates or housemates to be evicted. And he told us too, that, okay, so this time is going to be slightly different because you're going to be nominating 2 persons for possible eviction tonight. Like, hey, they were going to go right now, like tonight, after everything is done. And I was like, what? A lot of housemates were very, very skeptical. Like, they were very confused. They did not know who to nominate. Part of them, in fact, the top of that list was Doyin. Like, Doyin, almost, I could tell that Big Brother was already pissed off with this girl. After so much to and fro, no Chichi, no Adekunle, no this, no that. Finally, she made up her mind and she chose her 2 housemates. Now, we all know that Amaka has had a pretty rough week, right? And there has been a narrative going on with her. And one thing with narratives on this show is that once there is a narrative going on with you already or going on about you, it's very difficult to change it. Like, everything that happens keeps playing in accordance to that narrative. Now, a narrative was already going on around about Amaka, and everything she has been doing, even in her bid to clarify herself, you know, to clear her name, it wasn't working. Everybody just seemed to keep disliking her even more. And Doyin was another person that had a rough week because, you know, a lot of persons turned against her, particularly her faves or her fave couple, Shegs and Bella, whom she has been giving solicited or unsolicited advice to. Like, she has always been at their beck and call, you know, whenever he wants to talk to her about Bella this, Bella that, she's there to listen. And according to Shags, she is not to be trusted. He went on sharing to other people that she's not to be trusted, which made Doyin really feel sad when she found out, and she was like, I've always been rooting for these guys. I've always been here for them. I cannot believe that, you know, he's spreading these things about me. Anyway, so yes, it is kind of no surprise that top of everybody's list was Amaka and Doyin. Like, out of how many persons? Yeah, bottom line is they both had 6, according to my counting though, because it's confusing. According to my counting, they both had 6 votes each, like 6 persons called their names, and that was a tie for me, right? But surprisingly, Big Brother called everybody to go to the lounge and, you know, wait for him to come give them instructions or whatever. And they got there and he called Amaka as the person that was going to be evicted. And I was like, okay, I was expecting to call another person because according to my counting, Amaka and Doyin were having a tie. So if Amaka is leaving, Doyin should be leaving too, right? But Big Brother called just Amaka and he said that the rest of the housemates are up for possible eviction except for the head of house, whom is Dotun. Now, I don't know how to feel about that. I feel sorry for Amaka. That is just the predominant feeling I have. I feel sorry for Amaka. But other than that, I'm just like, I feel though that if she was, like, if this was a normal nomination process, I do not think she would have gone because, trust me, don't forget I told you guys that this girl has a big billboard somewhere in Port Harcourt, a big flyer, whatever you want to call it, banner, somewhere in Port Harcourt that is a voting center for her. Like, her fans are that active that they have a visible voting center. So if it was really based on votes, I don't think that Amaka would have been going anywhere. But, well, based on the housemates, and I don't know how Big Brother got to the conclusion between Doyin and Amaka, unless my counting was wrong, which I don't think it is. But anyway, according to that, Big Brother evicted, or Amaka was evicted based on, you know, the choice of her housemate. And that was the twist. Like, that was it. Oh, I did not expect that. We all expected the norm, you know. We all expected that it was going to be the normal nomination, and then, you know, next Sunday or this Sunday we would see who's leaving. But you know what? Funny enough, when she was called to leave the house and said, Big Brother then said, everybody was confused because they were like, okay, is there going to be another name? So everybody was just waiting, and it almost looked as though they were not interested in, you know, saying goodbye to her until she was now like, okay, goodbye guys, I love you all, it was nice knowing you. And then they all started reacting like, oh, hugs and hugs. And then bad girl Fina started crying, of course. Yes, we know that she and Amaka have been friends, even though that they've had their differences and all of that. They have still been friends from the beginning. But I did not expect Fina to break down in tears over Amaka, especially based on the recent happenings, rumors, and everything that they said Amaka was spreading about her. So I wasn't really expecting Fina to break down, but hey, she did anyways. I don't know if it was genuine or if she was just really generally sad. But that was it. That was all on the eviction process, the head of house games. Now the new head of house is Dotun, and of course, we will be waiting to see how he would reign as the next head of house. And until whenever I need to come tell you guys anything, of course, I'm Betty, and this is the Big Brother Naija show here on TAF TV.